Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to give you an update on where I'm at in my Kundalini journey. Kundalini has finally reached the brain. I've made a few update videos like this in the past. You can find them in a playlist, link below. Kundalini energy became permanently active over 10 years ago during meditation. After the awakening, a healing process began and is still ongoing. It's taken a long time for me, mainly because of my history with mental health. The goal of this process, of this cleansing process, the goal for Kundalini is to reach all the corners of my subtle energy body, the energy pathways, energy centers, to purify them, to burn away what is not true, and release low vibrational energy, emotional charge out of the system. So long story short, after years of intense mental and emotional healing work, I was finally able to allow Kundalini to reach the brain. And in my case, this is very different from case to case because people have different kind of issues, and for me, in my case, I can only talk about my personal experience. These upper chakras, the heart chakra, the heart energy center, throat, and those in the head were the most damaged. It took a while to allow the energy to be able to go up here and to access the brain. If your Kundalini is active, you know what I'm talking about. If your Kundalini energy isn't active, it's a little bit difficult to describe these things to others. So I feel energy, I feel Kundalini energy moving around on these pathways, going through the energy centers, moving around, feeling pressure in certain areas where there's damage. From the moment I open my eyes in the morning to the moment I close my eyes. So for me, this is a 24/7 thing that is happening all the time for 10 plus years now. So this is my so I live and breathe this thing because I'm confronted with it 24/7. And now that Kundalini was finally able to reach the brain, this is kind of like a new chapter for me in this journey, because something different started to happen recently, ever since Kundalini reached the brain. And it reached it through a spot here at the back of my neck, where the neck and the skull meets. Here I felt intense pressure at this point, and after that it was like floodgates were opening and Kundalini energy got a new kind of intensity, and more energy was able to flow into the system. And this was a little bit overwhelming at the beginning. And I want to talk in this video about these interesting new changes, because ever since Kundalini energy has moved into the brain, it also started to move into the subconscious. It is moving in the subconscious, into my memories, into the mind, and it starts to bring up hidden things. It is bringing the hidden things to the surface. And I'm not going to lie, this is kind of the hardest part of this whole thing, of this whole transformation. Being forced to face everything that is in the subconscious. And at this point, I want to talk a little bit about what I learned about the subconscious while going through these changes, through these Kundalini related changes. So I love to use analogies. I think it's a great way to learn, and I love using pictures. And for this one, I want to use the analogy of a house. The subconscious mind is like a huge house with many floors and many rooms. The older you are, the bigger the house becomes. Most of the time your awareness is in the attic, so up here, and very rarely does it go any further into the subconscious during the day. Sometimes at night before you fall asleep, it can move into deeper parts. So each room holds specific memories, specific experiences. Some of these rooms you like to visit, some you avoid, some you run away from, and some you escape into. Most people live this way, and I used to live this way too. Running into specific rooms to hide, avoiding other rooms, running and hiding, running and hiding. This is very restricting, exhausting, and annoying, and painful to live like this. But once Kundalini, as I said, reached the brain and started to move into the subconscious, and I was only able to do that, to get to this point, because the healing method that I'm using to create healing in myself was strong enough at that point and right now to be ready to face the things that are in the subconscious. You will never get anything that you're not ready to face. So you have to get ready. You have to be ready, and then things will come up. I was ready and able to face the dark things that were and are still hidden there. These are recent changes, so I'm not fully healed, but even healing a little bit helps so much. So the moment I was ready, Kundalini moved into the subconscious and confronted me with the content, with the things that are hidden there in these rooms, in these dark rooms. To fully heal, everything has to be looked at. I mean everything, literally everything, every single memory. And the good thing is that it is very organic. So it will come to you slowly, and it's also a little bit chronological. I'm getting a lot of childhood memories, and as I move through all of the memories, I'm getting closer and closer to present memories. And the rooms that you hide from and you don't want to go into, unfortunately, you have to visit them. The content of these rooms are like your worst days, the worst days of your life, the things, traumatic events. For me, like things that are in the basement of the subconscious are like the worst days of my life. Events connected to the death of my parents when I was a teenager. These are the things that caused me trauma and made it that I had mental health issues like depression and anxiety. The more I move into the basement of my subconscious, the more I move there with this higher awareness that I'm having, that I gained after the awakening and after doing the healing work, the less I get triggered during the day, the less anxious, scared, depressed I feel overall. The more control I have over this vehicle. I mentioned triggers earlier. If you know how to use triggers to your advantage, triggers can be a very helpful thing, because they can pull out stuff from the subconscious you haven't looked at yet. A trigger is like a hook that is pulling a memory out of the subconscious. What I'm doing right now, you could call this also shadow work. I think it is very similar to that. When we fill everything with light, bring awareness everywhere, this is the thing that Kundalini is doing. Automatically, it wants to move into everything, everything that is in the vessel. And if everything is filled with light, then there is no more shadow. There is nothing hiding anymore. Nothing can catch you off guard. Okay, so that's it for this video. I wanted to talk a little bit about these new changes and what's going on with me right now. And yeah, see you in the next one.